Hey guys, this is James.
And this is Denny from TeaDB bringing you guys episode 232.
Yeah,
Holy
welcome to
schmucks.
the autumn edition of TeaDB.
Yeah, it went from summer to autumn in about like one day.
Yeah, we're getting 90 degrees and now
it's
in
cold.
flannel.
Yeah, exactly. So we have not today actually.
Yeah.
Next time we'll bring on some
Essence.
raw Pu'erhs.
From
But
the Essence.
yeah, what do we got going on today?
So we have a Year of the Rooster ripe cake from Scott over at Yunnan Sourcing.
This is, I believe, this was created from the competition, right?
Yeah. So every
Yeah.
year Scott has a design competition and people submit some very creative and good-looking wrappers for store credit. Danny and I have never submitted a cake because we have no art skills. Well, not those art skills.
It's because there would be no competition. It's also there's just total bias because we'd buy our way into the.
We'd buy our way to get
For sure.
Yeah.
Just pull a politician on him. Everybody.
So this is one of Scott's ripe pressings from this year.
Cool.
So it probably uses some tea from previous years, and I know it's a blend. So
Right.
we got tea from all over the place, all over Yunnan, coming into here, and excited to try it.
Yeah, and I've definitely had a lot of the matcha, and just other, basically, yeah, I guess it's just the matcha. These sort of pre-pressed blends, trying to figure out what that's going on. That was for raws over. We were hanging out with Scott in Oregon back when he was living out there.
Yep.
So this will be different. I haven't seen any. I guess there isn't. Is there still matcha for ripe? Because it doesn't.
I think it's probably still called malcha,
Yeah.
and then you combine it and then you steam it together
Right.
for the cake.
Yeah.
So
But you'd imagine the taste would be quite different
right.
afterwards.
It would just have a different,
Immediately.
an extra step in the processing,
Yeah.
and the ripening. So let's take a smell of that.
Looks nice and clear. This is a 2017 pressing.
Yes. So the year is almost always when the tea was pressed,
Right.
not where it's from. So
So the material, meaning the leaves and so forth that are going into this.
could be older. And it's probably a mix of years, is what I would guess. It's pretty typical for ripe.
Smells great. Smells like a solid ripe.
Yeah.
In terms of proportions and
Yeah, this
the recipe.
clay vessel is a little bit bigger than my average one. It's about 140, 150 milliliters. We're using 7 Gs of leaf.
Oh my.
So,
Is it street legal?
no, it's not.
Not street legal.
It's straight from China, so of course it's not street legal.
Have we not made that joke before? A lot of episodes.
Yeah.
I am noticing that your pot here pours forever.
Yeah. So one of the reasons why this pot is used for ripe is if you use this sort of pot that pours this slow for young raw, you'd get
Ass
some
kicked.
strong brews.
Yeah.
Scott Wilson, in fact, could be one of the few people to take those brews, but
The legend.
for plebeians such as Denny and myself, maybe
It's
not.
really maroon or like brown, not even, as opposed to like really red, black kind of.
Yeah.
It's more of that like deeper woody color.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
It's a little
Gate.
hot.
Yeah, it's hot.
Yeah.
But out the gate, it's got some really nice texture. And that's going to be partially a product of the slow pour there, meaning that, if you're just going to let it soak for longer, it's going to get more viscous, especially early on. A little bit of sort of creaminess and chocolatey bitterness. And I've only taken one sip, so, and this is off of the first steeping. We did one rinse.
Yep.
So, onward.
Yeah, I'd say it actually is on the stronger, less sweet end of ripe from this initial
dry
steeping.
kind of, and it's got the viscosity is really wonderful though. It's got a really wonderful texture. It's thick, it's syrupy. Yeah, really nice. I know it's sacrilege to pour out tea, but My goodness, we have a lot of tea to go through.
We do.
And I want to see how this evolves too. So
Yeah.
one note, as you just saw there, I protected my nostrils.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you can see the steam coming off of this or not, off of the actual.
Yeah.
But when you open this up, it's kind of like opening up an oven. There's like an initial blast. You like put your head in there, it's like ah.
And so you sort of learn from steaming the shit out of your nose that you don't like go. You don't want to be over eager about your smelling. Maybe with a guy one you could get away with that.
So the actual material does have a variety of different colors in here a little bit, so you can see that it is young.
Different sizes as well.
Yeah, so it's going to come together and become more homogenized
Yep.
in appearance over age.
So we can see that the liqueur even darker for the second steep. So
Yeah.
curious to see if it's going to be a little bit more mellow or if it might still continue to be on the
That's a really brown, earthy characteristic. More so than I think any other raw I've actually ever seen before, frankly. Which is
you
kind of
mean
interesting. The
ripe?
color.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, ripe.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Yeah, wonderful. Beautiful looking. Some oils.
Yep.
It's clean tasting. It doesn't taste funky. One would hope. I mean...
Yeah, so for... that's actually a good observation, I think. Because for 2017 pressing, sometimes, especially if the Malcha is very recent, then you might get a less clean, more of a muddy taste to it. And it might be one reason to hold off on waiting.
Right.
With this tea, you don't get any of that.
Yeah. I think this is a tea that you can order today and drink today, as well as age. And again, just by virtue of the color, it's not coming up quite as much in the complexity of the brew, but at least in the color you can tell that there's enough diversity in the tea leaves that it will age it will change over time, but this is actually pretty balanced right now.
It's got a nice strong aftertaste, especially for ripe tea, which tends to be a little bit more mellow than raw tea at least.
I think you're spot on the fact that it's not really sweet. It doesn't have the sort of like chocolate cherry candy notes as much, but it doesn't detract from it at all. It's just kind of more of a drier flavor. I'm really enjoying it actually.
Getting some more of the woodier notes to this right now.
I think the viscosity might be my favorite part, frankly.
Yeah.
I think just from a complexity of taste and flavors right now, this isn't the most complex, craziest tea ever. It actually has some nice finishing notes that are a little bit fruity, but that's not going to detract from this tea at all. It just needs some time. It's a very fresh, new tea, and even now it has a lot to offer. It's nice and viscous. It's smack dab center in the category, and so you're gonna really understand what a ripe pu'erh tastes like. So if you're a new tea drinker, this would be a great pickup. It's not too sweet, so folks want to get a little bit more acclimated or familiar with some. I don't want to call it bitter because it's not bitter, but just less sweet flavors. You've been drinking a lot of some sweet oolongs, and now you're moving into more of some roasted oolongs or some wooies. And you're expanding your palate that way. This might be another tea that might help you expand your ripe pu'erh palate a little bit.
Yeah. And when Denny says less sweet, it's in the context of ripe pu'erh.
Totally.
Like compared to most raw pu'erhs, this would be much sweeter than young raw at least.
Yeah. Totally agree.
Yep. And one thing you'll notice that I just
now.
reboiled the water. I think it's just really important to continue to hit your ripe pu'erh with high temperatures. I wouldn't ever brew ripe pu'erh at green tea temperatures, for instance.
Oh, yeah.
Want to make sure it's all hot, which also contributes to sort of deciding to brew in clay.
This is pretty fine, not gonna lie. It's tasty. This definitely does not have any age flavor on it. It tastes pretty new. But I wouldn't say that I could tell that this was a fresh pressing because it doesn't have any harshness or it doesn't have anything that's too sort of high. There's a good balance on it. Liqueur is getting much more red too.
Yeah.
It's like
Actually, I got a hint of that sort of like cherry sweetness in that one. It wasn't dominated by like the Shagwan tool could be.
Yeah.
It's
more lingering.
Yeah. How have you found the evolution of steeps? Has it changed much, steep to steep?
Not too much.
Pretty constant.
I think maybe besides a little bit of that kind of sweeter fruit note happening a little bit, sort of more vaguely at the end. Not too much. This is a pretty strong tea for a ripe. It's just a powerful flavor profile.
Yeah.
It's definitely in the medium to heavy notes.
We'll do one last one.
Yeah, and so, yeah, no, I'm really enjoying this. I don't think it's. I think the evolution of this tea is gonna involve more of those heavy notes falling off a little bit, as opposed to tasting certain high notes and then another little whisper of something else, and then getting into the sort of meat of it. So maybe it doesn't have quite as much evolution, but I think it probably has a fair amount of finesse. So you can probably brew this thing for quite some time.
Seems like it's still brewing pretty strong.
Yeah.
About 5 infusions in.
Yeah, and it's beautiful, clean, nice and creamy. I love the thickness of this. I say this, for being pressed this year, this is pretty good.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. So James, do you actually know how much this bad boy costs?
Yeah, I was about to chime in. So
Yeah.
One thing with Scott is that you can usually count on his pressings being very reasonable.
Right.
So this tea costs $25 for 250 grams.
It's an amazingly good deal.
Really good value.
Yeah.
You can also probably count on it like slowly rising in price throughout the years.
Yeah.
By 15 or 20% per year. So it'll probably be around this price for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so pretty reasonable price, I would say, all things considered.
2 thumbs up, or at least there it is. There's 2.
Yeah, 4 thumbs.
Beyond the fact that Scott's a homie and we love him, this is great. And Scott does have a ton of teas, and not all of his teas resonate with me. This tea does. I would definitely recommend this tea. It's cool that he's pressed it. I also love the kind of community piece of it a little bit too. The wrapper and stuff.
Yeah,
it's just
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
fun. So definitely check out Scott at Yunnan Sourcing. We're gonna drink this last cup, and then we're gonna plug the living bejesus out of our website. All right.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Speaking of which, that is a bad looking rooster right there.
Yeah.
I would not mess with that rooster.
This is good. Actually, let's do one more. Yeah, it doesn't have quite as much of those sweeter, fruity notes as strongly. It has them. They're lighter. They're a little bit of like a higher note. I think it has much more of those sort of like cozier feeling flavors. This is a really good seasonal brew.
And it sort of makes up for that in just its strength, its pungent strength, I would say. It's like not as sweet, but if you're into your ripes being strong, sort of not dissimilar from the white tea one we brought on recently, then I think this is a pretty good ripe for you. Meaning also that it's also one, like Denny said, that you could probably keep around for a while.
Yeah.
And it's not gonna, it's gonna probably get a little bit better each year.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so you're gonna go in the craziness of Pu'erh investing. Yeah. This could be a good pickup,
so
especially
buy 1,
at an entry,
buy 10.
an entry price point.
Yeah.
And then like something like a QVC model comes up and stuff, and there's like a turning Pu'erh thing, and there's like a bunch
of like a tong twirling around.
4:30 in the morning, but you're here with us for some reason.
Buy 4, get 1 free.
All right, here's our last brew.
This is our next business venture. Cheers to that, guys.
Salute. Yeah, it's lighting up a little bit.
Yeah, I agree.
But it still has a lot of those different, those sort of like, kind of just deep, ripe characteristics. Really yummy.
Nice. I'm enjoying the just like slowly changing tea throughout these steeps, and it has a nice amount of like different layers and stuff to appreciate with the tea. I think that might be a product of just the fact that there's multiple different materials blended in.
Yeah. And this tea might, this might be a fun tea to revisit in a few years as it changes dramatically. But definitely a great pickup. Wonderful. I'd say it's definitely going to pass the mom test. It's got a sweet profile overall.
Yeah.
Even if it might be a little bit of a drier, ripe Pu'erh, it's definitely an approachable tea. I think folks would just enjoy this out of the box.
Yep. Don't need to give it an extra rinse or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. If folks want to learn more about tea in general.
Yeah, you guys should, first of all, you should hit that thumbs up button if you enjoyed the video. You should also subscribe below. I think we are now above 4,000 subscribers, so thank you all for following us.
Yeah.
Check us out at TeaDB.org. You can also check out all kinds of episodes on ripe pu'erh, raw pu'erh, oolong, all the other types of black tea, white tea,
roasted, aged,
we have done 232 of these, so
many
there are so many different
content.
things to look at. And go, of course, check out Scott if ripe pu'erh is your thing. I also confirmed before there are samples available of this, so if you don't want to even jump in and spend the $25, you can buy a $5 sample of this tea.
You should just get the cake.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty reasonable buy. So go check that out as well, and thank you guys for tuning in.
We'll see you guys next time. Cheers.
Cheers.